Hi everyone. Here we will discuss the inner class concept in object oriented programming. The class which is declared inside the scope of another class or interface is called inner class. The class in which the inner class is defined, that is called outer class. For example, the class name is outer class, and here we are defining by opening the curly braces. Then we are writing number of statements. Then inside that we are defining one more class with the class name is inner underscore class. So here this class is inside the outer class, so this class is called inner class. It is having its own number of statements. The inner classes can access all the members, that means variables and methods of outer class, including the private. For example, if class outer is having some variables, here private, right, and here integer a, so this can be accessible by the inner class which is inside this outer class. So the accessibility can be given to all the inner classes which is defined inside the outer class. Similarly, outer class can access all the members of the inner class, including private members. Members in the sense, any class which will have two members. One is the variables and another one is the methods or actions, right? So these methods are defined to perform some actions. Then here, what is the need of inner class? If all objects belong to inner class, outer class can access all the objects of the inner class. For example, when you are defining the objects for only by using the inner class, then that objects can be accessible by using the outer class, because this class is defined inside the outer class. And like that, nested classes are used to develop more readable and maintainable code, because it is logically grouping the classes and interfaces in a single place. So here you see, whenever you are writing, the outer class is having accessibility, and which is including all the classes whichever we are defining inside the outer class. Okay, so here, based upon that, it can easily maintain and the readability of that code in a single, as a single unit. And it is achieving the code optimization by writing the less number of statements inside the outer class. Here we are having four types of inner classes in Java. One is major type is nested inner class, that is called non-static, and the second major type is static nested class. In the non-static inner class, we are having three more subcategories. One is member inner class, anonymous inner class, and method local inner class. Nested inner class can access any private object variable of outer class, that already we have seen. Inner class also can access the outer class object variables. Outer class also can access the all object variables of inner class. Here we will see first category, non-static inner class. Non-static inner class object cannot be created without an outer class instance. That is, it must instantiate the outer class first to instantiate the inner class. For example, here we have to create the outer class object first. For example, outer, then outer class object. Okay, then if this variable is used to create the inner class object. Okay, then we can define like here obj1. So obj, here outer class object is used to create the inner class object. And here the non-static class is created inside a class, not a outside a, not a inside a method. Okay, suppose if you are having method, inside the method we cannot create the object. Okay, so here you cannot create the object, we have to create the object outside the method. The private variables and methods of the member classes are available to outer class and other member classes. That's what we have seen in the previous slide itself. Any private variable we are declaring out in the outer class, and also any private variable we are declaring inside the inner class, that can be accessible to all the members in the class and also outside outer class, right? That is the meaning of this statement. The nested inner class can access any private object variable of outer class. That's what here we have seen. The object variable or any variables can be accessible by using the inner class. And non-static inner class cannot have static members, because the name itself, which is defined as a non-static inner class, so you cannot define the variable like static then integer a. So this is not possible in the non-static inner class, but other modifiers you can use to define the variables, like abstract method, then final variable, then public access specifier, protected access specifier, and private access specifier, to define the methods and variables. Here we are defining the uh, object for inner class. First we have to define the outer class object, then using this outer class object we are creating the object for inner class. So this is the syntax for this one. So obj is outer class object. By using the outer class object we are going to create the inner class object. Here we are having the example for inner class. So this is called regular inner class. So here we are defining the class name is outer, then which is initiating the definition of the statements, declaring the integer variable with value 10, and inside the outer class I am defining one class, that name is inner, then which is having some number of statements, which is defining the method public void show, then which is having a single statement nested class small x. So here, which is displaying the value of the x, you'll see this is accessing the value of the outer class. Variable is declared inside the outer class, but which is having the accessibility, right, to access the outer class variable. Even though if the variable is declared as private, that is also can be accessible by the inner class. And then we are we are closing the inner class here, then we are defining the main method inside the outer class. Then you see we are creating the object first for the outer class. As per the statement here, we are creating the object first for the outer class, then we are using that outer class object to instantiate the inner class object. You see, first we are creating the object for outer class, then we are using that outer class object to create the object for inner class. Okay, so this is the syntax for creating the inner class object by using outer class object. Then by using the inner class object variable, we are invoking the show method. Once we are calling this, the control is passed on to the show method, which is defined inside the inner class. Then the statement will be displaying. So x value is here 10. Okay, that is the thing. So then here another one feature of this non-static method is here non-static inner class, not a static method, non-static inner class here, which is not allowing the static method. Okay, so here look at that. Static method is not allowed inside the nested inner class, because an inner class is implicitly associated with an object of its outer class. So the name itself non-static. Okay, that's why the static method cannot be defined inside the inner class, because the inner class is having the accessibility to the outer class. So here you see I am defining the outer class, then inside that I am defining one method. That method is called outer method. Inside that, simply I am writing single statement for our reference. So this is printing the inside outer method. Then in here the method is completed here. Then inner class is defined with the class name here. Then inner class is having the main method. Look at that. This is the static method. Okay, this is the static method. So here the main method is completed, then inner class is over, right? Then outer class is completed. Here what is the output? Here you see we are getting the error because the method main method not found in the class outer. That means this is the main method which is not found in the outer class. Please define the main method inside the outer class. That is the meaning of this one. So we are not defining the main method outside the inner class. That is the issue here. So the static method is not allowing inside the nested inner class. We can define inside the outer class only, right? We cannot define inside the inner class. Then another one feature is here, member names conflict. That means members are here. What are the members? One is method and another one is variable. So when we are having the same name for the variable, what will be happen? Same name for the method, what will be happen? If members name in outer class and inner class are similar, then refer the name of the outer class member inside the inner class using this syntax. Suppose if my variable is this one, then I can use this keyword here, outer class name. So outer class name, this keyword, then the variable name. So this is the syntax to refer the or to represent the outer class variable name inside the inner class when our that variable is similar to the inner class variable. So here outer class is defined outer one, then x is the variable I am defining with value 10. Then here I am creating the inner class inside the outer class. Then this is having some number of statements. Here again I am declaring the integer variable x, that is value having 32. Then here you see I am declaring the variable integer, then which is accessing the variable value, right? The outer class variable, right? By using outer class name, this keyword, then the variable which is declared in the outer class, plus I am adding some value, right, for my reference. Then I am creating one more variable c. This x is representing the variable which is declared inside the inner class, because this x is defined two times. One is inside the inner class and another one is inside the outer class. Okay, so here the variable should be represented by using the outer class name, then only it will access that one. Otherwise it will give the preference to access the inner class variable. So now you look at that, I am defining message method. Here I am displaying the value of I. Then another one is statement, output statement, displaying the value of the c. So this will represent the inner class variable x, this is representing the outer class variable x by using the outer class name. So now main method is defined, then which is defining the variable obj. You see first we are using the outer class, then outer class name, then only we are using the inner class name. This is the syntax as per. So this, as per this one here, we have to define first outer class object, then inner class to be created, inner class object to be created. So like that, here outer class is using to create the inner class, then inner class is defined here. Then I am using that object variable to access the method inside the inner class. So when you are defining this, you can execute this by using the java command. So here when I running the program, first you see we are getting the 20 for this particular statement, outer class name this dot x. So what is the value here? 10. So 10 plus 10 is 20. Then here we are accessing the x, so this value is 32, 32 plus 10, 42, right? So what should observe here, when the variables are having similar name in outer class and inner class, to access the outer class variable we should use this syntax with the outer class name and this keyword dot variable name. Thanks for watching.